Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. The table looked like a mess, showing all their money problems. The morning light made the kitchen feel cold and tense. The bills were piled up and reminded them of their troubles. Elise held her mug. Her purple bathrobe did not make her feel better. She spoke up. Kai, we have to talk about the credit card debt. Kai stared at his scrambled eggs and did not want to talk. Later, he said quietly. His blonde hair hid his worried face. But Kai, you keep saying that every day. Elise sounded desperate, but Kai did not listen. He slammed his fork down, making a loud noise in the quiet kitchen. Elise's face got tight. Fine. Keep ignoring everything like you always do. What do you mean by that? Kai asked. You know exactly what it means. Every time we need to discuss something important, you shut down. Maybe because every discussion turns into you listing everything I do wrong. He stood abruptly, chair scraping against linoleum. Where are you going? Out? Typical. She turned away, staring out the window at their overgrown backyard. Run away. That solves everything. The front door slammed. Elise sat alone at the table, surrounded by cold eggs and bitter silence. This couldn't continue. 6 years of marriage, and they'd become strangers sharing a house. She picked up her phone and scrolled through her contacts until she found Dr. Morgan's number. Her sister had mentioned the therapist helped save her marriage. Maybe there was still hope. 3 days later, they sat in matching beige chairs across from Dr. Morgan. The office smelled like vanilla candles and leather furniture. Diplomas covered one wall, while abstract art decorated another. Kai fidgeted with his wedding ring, spinning it around his finger. He'd changed into his blue button-down shirt and khaki pants after work. Thank you both for coming. Dr. Morgan adjusted her glasses, silver frames catching the light. Her gray pantsuit gave her an air of professional warmth. What brings you here today? We can't stop fighting. Elise smoothed her green sundress. About money, chores, everything. She thinks I'm irresponsible. Kai crossed his arms. You bounced 3 checks last month. Because you moved money without telling me. I told you twice. Perhaps we should start with some ground rules. Dr. Morgan held up a hand. In this space, we speak about our own feelings, not accusations. Elise, can you tell me how you feel when these situations arise? Frustrated, scared, honestly, like we're drowning and he won't grab the life preserver. Kai? He uncrossed his arms, shoulders dropping. Trapped. Like nothing I do is good enough. These are valid feelings. Both of you seem stuck in patterns of behavior. Sometimes breaking those patterns requires trying something completely different. Have either of you heard of therapeutic hypnosis? Like making people cluck like chickens? Kai's eyebrow raised. Not quite. Dr. Morgan smiled. Clinical hypnosis helps people access their subconscious minds, where many of our automatic behaviors originate. It can help identify and change destructive patterns. Would you be open to trying it? Elise glanced at Kai. What would it involve? I'd guide you both into a relaxed state and help you explore new perspectives. Nothing happens without your consent. You remain aware and in control throughout. I guess we could try? Kai looked skeptical but resigned. Wonderful. Let's begin with some breathing exercises. The room dimmed as Dr. Morgan adjusted the lighting. Soft instrumental music played from hidden speakers. She guided them through progressive relaxation, her voice becoming rhythmic and soothing. As you relax deeper, imagine walking down a staircase. With each step, you feel more peaceful, more open. 10, 9, 8. Kai's breathing slowed. The constant tension in his shoulders melted away. Beside him, Elise's face softened, worry lines smoothing. Now I want you both to imagine a different version of yourselves. One without fear, without judgment. In this space, you can be anyone. Try anything. Men might wear unexpected outfits. Women might take on new roles. There are no rules here, only possibilities. The words floated through Kai's consciousness like clouds. Unexpected outfits. The phrase stuck oddly in his mind. Picture yourself doing something completely out of character, something that would surprise everyone who knows you. How does it feel? Free? Exciting? Colors swirled behind Kai's closed eyelids. He saw himself differently, though the image remained fuzzy, undefined. In relationships, we often get trapped playing the same roles repeatedly. The angry husband, the nagging wife. But what if you could be someone else entirely? What if you could step outside those boxes? Time became elastic. Minutes or hours might have passed before Dr. Morgan's voice grew stronger, counting upward. 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes when you're ready. Kai blinked, disoriented. The office looked sharper somehow, colors more vivid. Elise stretched beside him, cat-like. How do you both feel? Weird, but good weird. Kai touched his face as if confirming he was still himself. Relaxed? Elise smiled, the first genuine smile he'd seen in weeks. Like I've been carrying heavy bags and just set them down. Excellent. The effects of hypnosis often continue working subconsciously over the following days. You might find yourselves thinking or behaving differently. Embrace it. Change requires stepping outside comfort zones. They scheduled another appointment and left, walking to their cars in companionable silence. The drive home felt different. Instead of rehearsing arguments, Kai found himself humming along to the radio. Want to order pizza tonight? Elise suggested as they pulled into the driveway. I don't feel like cooking. Sure, Hawaiian? You hate pineapple on pizza. Maybe I'll try it. The words surprised him. Stepping outside comfort zones, right? She laughed. Okay, who are you and what did you do with my husband? That night, they ate pizza and watched comedies instead of scrolling their phones. When bedtime came, they fell asleep without rehashing the day's grievances. Progress, however small. The changes started subtly. Kai caught himself pausing at store windows he'd never noticed before. A mannequin wearing a flowing dress made him stop mid-stride. The fabric looked soft, comfortable. He shook his head and continued walking, but the image lingered. Elise noticed his distraction over dinner. He'd made spaghetti, her favorite, without being asked. Everything okay? You seem somewhere else? Just thinking about what Dr. Morgan said, about trying new things. He twirled pasta on his fork, watching the motion. Any ideas what you might want to try? Not really. You? She considered while chewing. Maybe taking that art class at the community college. I always wanted to paint. You should do it. Yeah? Why not? We get so stuck in routines. Work, home, TV, sleep, repeat. He gestured with his fork. When did we stop trying new things? Probably around the time we started fighting about money. Right. He set down his fork. I'm sorry about the bounced checks. I should have been paying attention. Thank you. I'm sorry for moving the money without making sure you knew. I thought I told you, but maybe I just thought about telling you. They cleaned up together, moving around the kitchen with practiced efficiency. While Elise loaded the dishwasher, Kai wiped counters. Domestic choreography performed without collision or complaint. Later, Elise sat on the couch with her laptop, browsing course catalogs. Kai tried watching TV, but found himself restless. That mannequin kept floating through his thoughts. The dress had been red, knee-length, with small white flowers. Why did he remember such details? I'm going to take a shower. He headed upstairs. Under the hot water, he tried to sort through the strange feelings. Dr. Morgan said embrace change. But this felt too strange, too far from anything he'd considered before. He was a normal guy, worked in accounting, played basketball on weekends, drank beer with friends. Normal guys didn't think about dresses, except he was thinking about them. After drying off, he stood before the bedroom mirror in his boxers. Same body he'd always had. Relatively fit, though softer around the middle than in college. Blonde hair still damp, sticking up at odd angles. Nothing feminine about his reflection. So why did he feel disappointed? You okay in there? Elise called through the door. Yeah, just getting dressed. He pulled on pajama pants and a t-shirt, both navy blue. She was already in bed when he emerged, reading on her tablet. Her nightgown was pale yellow with tiny butterflies. Pretty, comfortable looking. Find any good classes? A few. Painting, pottery, even jewelry making. She looked up. We could take something together if you want. Maybe. He slid under the covers. Let me think about it. But thinking was the problem. Over the following days, the thoughts intensified. He'd catch himself staring at women's clothing in stores, not with desire for the women wearing them, but imagining how the fabrics might feel. Silk, cotton, lace. His fingers itched to touch, to know. At work, he struggled to focus on spreadsheets. His coworker Maria wore a teal blouse that moved beautifully when she walked. How did women decide what to wear each day? So many choices, colors, styles. His closet contained variations of the same 5 outfits. Safe, boring. Earth to Kai. His boss, Robert, waved a hand before his face. You with us? Sorry, just thinking through the quarterly projections. He forced attention back to the meeting. But afterward, walking to his car, he detoured through the department store attached to the parking garage. Just to look? No harm in looking. The women's section overwhelmed him. Racks stretched in every direction, organized by some system he couldn't decipher. A saleswoman approached, her name tag reading Jennifer. Can I help you find something? Oh no, I'm just... What? Just fantasizing about wearing a dress? Shopping for my wife. Anniversary coming up. How lovely. What size is she? He knew Elise's sizes, had seen them on laundry tags for years. Medium, usually. Size 8 in dresses? Any particular style she likes? She mentioned wanting something new, different from her usual. The lie came easily. Jennifer showed him several options. A blue sundress with white trim, a professional black sheath. Then she held up a red dress with small white flowers. His breath caught. This just came in. Very popular style. Comfortable but flattering. How much? $60, but we're having a sale. 40% off today only. He bought it before second thoughts could interfere. Jennifer wrapped it in tissue paper, placed it in a silver bag. Your wife is lucky to have such a thoughtful husband. The bag sat in his trunk for 2 days. He'd parked in the garage each night, staring at it, paralyzed. What was he doing? But he couldn't bring himself to return it either. Thursday evening, Elise called to say she'd be late. Emergency meeting with a client. He'd have the house to himself for at least 2 hours. He carried the bag inside, hands trembling slightly. This was insane, but Dr. Morgan's words echoed. Embrace change, step outside comfort zones. And hadn't things been better with Elise since they'd started trying new approaches? In the bedroom, he unwrapped the dress carefully. The fabric felt even softer than imagined. He held it up against himself in the mirror. Too weird, too much. But what if? He stripped down, hesitating in his underwear. The dress slipped over his head easily. The fit wasn't perfect, tight across the shoulders, loose at the chest, but the sensation of fabric swishing against his legs sent unexpected shivers through him. He turned, watching the skirt flare. His reflection looked wrong and right simultaneously. The body was still masculine, but something in his posture had shifted, softer somehow. He tried walking, stumbling at first in the unfamiliar garment, but after a few steps, he found a rhythm. Smaller strides, smoother motion. A car door slammed outside. Panic flooded through him. Elise wasn't supposed to be home yet. He yanked the dress off, catching it briefly on his head, and shoved it under the bed. By the time her keys jingled in the lock, he'd thrown on jeans and a t-shirt. Hey, meeting ended early. She dropped her purse on the counter. Client decided they loved the original proposal after all. 3 hours of discussion for nothing. That's annoying. His heart still raced. You okay? You look flushed. Just did some jumping jacks, trying to be healthier. Good for you. She kicked off her heels. I'm going to change. Want to watch that new mystery series? Sure. While she headed upstairs, he tried to calm his breathing. What had just happened? And more concerning, why did he want to do it again? The weekend brought their second appointment with Dr. Morgan. This time, the hypnosis went deeper. Colors and sensations blended together. He felt himself floating, unmoored from his usual identity. Dr. Morgan's voice became the only anchor. Identity is fluid, changeable. We are not locked into single versions of ourselves. A businessman can become an artist. A tough person can embrace softness. Gender itself is just another construct, another box we can step outside of when we choose. The words sank deep, seeds planted in fertile subconscious soil. Imagine yourself as you've always wanted to be. Not as others expect, but as your truest self. What do you see? Behind closed lids, Kai saw himself transformed. Still him, but different. Softer features, longer hair, moving with grace he'd never possessed. Wearing that red dress, but this time it fit perfectly. This time he didn't feel wrong. When they emerged from trance, Elise squeezed his hand. That was intense. Yeah, his voice sounded strange to his own ears. You both went very deep today. Dr. Morgan made notes. How are things at home? Better, Elise smiled. We haven't fought once this week. Wonderful. And you're both trying new things? I signed up for painting classes. Start next week. Excellent. Kai? Still figuring that out. The dress remained hidden under their bed, waiting. No rush. Change happens at its own pace. Just remain open to possibilities. Driving home, Elise chattered about her art class, supplies she needed to buy. Kai half listened, mind elsewhere. The vision from Hypnosis lingered like perfume. Was that who he really was? Or just strange thoughts planted by suggestion? Wanna come with me to the art store? Oh, sure. The art supply store occupied a converted warehouse, shelves stretching to the ceiling. While Elise gathered brushes and canvases, Kai wandered. He found himself in the costume section, surrounded by wigs and makeup. A blonde wig caught his eye, long and straight, the exact shade of his natural color, but feminine in style. Find something interesting? Elise appeared beside him. He jerked back. Just looking at the Halloween stuff. It's only August. Never too early to plan, right? Weak excuse, but she seemed to accept it. They left with bags of supplies. At home, Elise spread her new purchases across the dining table, organizing with obvious joy. Kai watched, envying her certainty. She knew what she wanted to try. He remained lost in confusion. That night, while she slept, he retrieved the dress from under the bed. In the bathroom with the door locked, he tried it on again. This time, he really looked at himself. Past the masculine features to something else. Potential, maybe. Or delusion. He stayed in the bathroom for an hour, practicing movements. How women stood, walked, gestured. YouTube videos on his phone provided reference. Ridiculous to be doing this at 2 a.m., but he couldn't stop. Each successful feminine motion sent thrills through him. When exhaustion finally drove him to bed, he folded the dress carefully and hid it in the back of his closet, behind winter coats. Elise murmured in her sleep as he slipped under covers. He lay awake until dawn, mind racing. The pattern continued for 2 weeks. Days spent distracted at work, evenings pretending normalcy, nights exploring this strange new aspect of himself. He bought more items online, shipped to his office to avoid questions. A black skirt, simple blouses, even underwear, though that purchase left him red-faced and stammering at the checkout. He learned about sizing, about how women's clothes differed from men's, discovered YouTube tutorials on everything from walking in heels to basic makeup. The wig arrived in discreet packaging. When he tried it on with a full outfit, the transformation stunned him. Still obviously male in build, but feminine enough to create cognitive dissonance. "Who are you?" he whispered to his reflection. The answer terrified and thrilled him equally. Meanwhile, Elise bloomed in her art classes. She came home covered in paint, chattering about techniques and color theory. Their fights ceased entirely. They laughed together, made love more often, seemed to rediscover why they'd married in the first place. Guilt gnawed at him. Here she was, openly pursuing her passion, while he hid in bathrooms and locked bedrooms. But how could he explain? "Honey, I think I might want to be a woman," wasn't exactly casual dinner conversation. During their 4th session with Dr. Morgan, the therapist noticed his distraction. "Kai, you seem troubled today. What's on your mind?" "Just work stuff." The lie tasted bitter. "Remember, this is a safe space. Nothing you share leaves this room." He glanced at Elise, who watched with concern. Really, it's nothing important. Dr. Morgan didn't press, but her knowing look suggested she saw through his deflection. The hypnosis that day focused on authenticity, on the courage required to show our true selves to those we love. Secrets create distance, her voice intoned. Truth, however difficult, brings connection. Afterward, Elise took his hand in the parking lot. You know you can tell me anything, right? I know. Is there someone else? What? No! He pulled her close. Never. You're the only woman I want. The irony of that statement hit him later. The only woman he wanted, but maybe not the only woman he wanted to be. His experimentation grew bolder. He shaved his legs, thrilling at the smoothness, practiced with makeup until he could apply basic foundation and lipstick without looking like a clown. The blonde wig became his favorite accessory, transforming him instantly. He even developed a feminine voice, higher and softer than his usual tone. One evening, Elise called to say she'd be attending a gallery opening with her art class. Wouldn't be home until late. He had the house to himself for hours. This time, he didn't hide in the bathroom. He showered, shaved carefully, and took his time with the transformation. The red dress with white flowers, the wig styled carefully, makeup subtle but effective. When finished, he barely recognized himself. He moved through the house as this new version of himself. Made dinner in the dress, ate at the table like a normal evening, washed dishes, watched TV, mundane activities that felt revolutionary in feminine presentation. Around 9, he heard car doors outside, multiple voices. Panic seized him. Elise had brought people home. He ran for the stairs, heels clicking on hardwood. The front door opened as he reached the landing. Elise's voice carried up. Let me just grab that book I mentioned. He froze. No time to change. She'd see him any second. Heart hammering, he did the only thing possible. Stepped into view. Oh! Elise stopped mid-stride at the bottom of the stairs. Behind her, 2 women from her art class peered curiously. Hi. His feminine voice emerged automatically. I'm Kai's cousin, visiting from out of town. Elise's mouth opened and closed. Her eyes traveled from the wig to the dress to the shoes. Recognition dawned slowly, followed by confusion, then something unreadable. Ladies, could you wait in the car? I'll just be a minute. Her voice remained steady. The women retreated, whispering. The door closed with terrifying finality. Kai? Barely a whisper. He nodded, unable to speak. Come down here. He descended carefully, legs shaking. She circled him slowly, taking in every detail. Her expression revealed nothing. How long? Few weeks, since the hypnosis sessions started opening things up. Is this why you've been so distracted? Yes? Are you... She paused, choosing words carefully. Do you want to be a woman? I don't know, maybe, sometimes. The words tumbled out. It feels right when I'm like this. But I love you. I love our life. I'm so confused. That's my dress. What? The red one with flowers. I wondered where it went. Oh God, I'm sorry. I bought it for myself but told the saleswoman it was for you. I'll buy you a new one. Kai. She held up a hand. Stop. Just give me a minute to process. She sat heavily on the couch. He remained standing, afraid to move. The wig felt heavy now, makeup like a mask. What had he done? Sit down. You're making me nervous hovering like that. He perched on the chair across from her, automatically smoothing the skirt. Her eyes tracked the feminine gesture. You look... She tilted her head. Different. Not bad, just different. I can change back, throw all this away, pretend it never happened. Is that what you want? I want you. Everything else is secondary. That's not what I asked. He forced himself to meet her eyes. No, I don't want to stop. It feels like I've discovered a piece of myself I didn't know was missing. The hypnosis did this? Released it, maybe. Dr. Morgan kept talking about trying new things, stepping outside boxes, and then the thought started, small at first, but growing. Why didn't you tell me? How? Hey, honey, I want to wear dresses? I couldn't even admit it to myself initially. She laughed, surprising them both. We're quite a pair. Me covered in paint, you in my dress. Are you angry? I don't know what I am. Shocked, confused, but not angry. She studied him again. You need better foundation. You're not matching your skin tone. What? And that wig looks cheap. If you're going to do this, do it right. Elise, I need time to think, and you need to be honest with me from now on. No more hiding. I promise. Good. Now go change before my friends wonder why we're taking so long. We'll talk more later. He stood, then paused. What should I tell them? About being your cousin? Nothing. Change fast and come out as yourself. We'll say my cousin left through the back door. You'd lie for me? I'm buying time to figure this out. Now go. He rushed upstairs, stripping off the feminine clothes with shaking hands. The makeup came off with wipes, though traces lingered. Back in jeans and t-shirt, he felt strangely bereft, like stepping back into a costume that no longer fit. Elise had moved to the porch with her friends. He grabbed a beer from the fridge and joined them, playing the role of normal husband. But her eyes kept finding his, full of questions he couldn't yet answer. When the women finally left, they sat at the kitchen table, the same table where they'd fought about bills weeks ago. Everything had changed since then. So, Elise folded her hands. My husband wants to be a woman. I don't know if I want to be one full-time, but I want to explore this side of myself. What does that mean practically? I'm not sure. Dressing at home sometimes? Maybe eventually going out like this? In public? Her voice rose. Not immediately, but maybe someday. What about work? Our families? Our friends? I haven't thought that far ahead. Of course you haven't. But her tone held more fondness than criticism. You jump into things without planning. It's what I love and hate about you. You still love me? Don't be dramatic. Of course I do. This is just a lot. I know. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. You can't help who you are. She drummed fingers on the table. Dr. Morgan mentioned gender identity during our last session. Said it's more fluid than most people realize. She did? You were pretty deep in trance. She talked about how some people discover new aspects of themselves later in life. I thought she meant like my painting. Maybe she meant both. Maybe. Elise stood, pacing. I need rules, guidelines, something. Okay. First, no more secrets. You want to try something new, you tell me. Agreed. Second, we take this slow, no life-altering decisions while we're figuring things out. That's fair. Third, you get proper clothes. No more stealing mine. I only took the one dress and my black pumps and that silk scarf I couldn't find. He blushed. Oh, exactly. Get your own things. She paused. I'll help if you want. You really do need better makeup. You'd do that? Kai, we've been together 8 years, married for 6. I've seen you through food poisoning, unemployment, and that unfortunate mustache phase. This is just another thing. It's a pretty big thing. Yes, but we're working on us, right? Being more open. This is about as open as it gets. Relief flooded through him. I love you so much. I know. Now what should I call you when you're dressed up? Kai doesn't seem right. He hadn't considered that. I don't know, haven't thought about names. We'll figure it out, but not tonight. I'm exhausted from processing all this. They went to bed holding each other tighter than usual. Neither slept well, minds racing with implications and possibilities. But they faced the same direction, which felt like progress. The next morning brought awkwardness. How did you eat breakfast after revealing something so fundamental? Kai pushed cereal around his bowl while Elise stared at her coffee. So? She broke the silence. Shopping? Now? It's Saturday. Stores are open. Unless you'd rather order everything online like you've been doing. You knew? Packages kept arriving at your office. You're not that subtle. Apparently not. Finish your cereal. We'll hit the mall early before crowds. Elise, are you sure? No, but sitting here feeling weird won't help. Might as well be productive while we adjust. An hour later, they stood in the women's section of Nordstrom. Kai felt exposed, certain everyone could see through him. But Elise moved confidently, pulling items like she'd done this before. Size 10 should work for most things. You're broader in the shoulders than me. She held up a blue dress. This would complement your coloring. How are you so calm about this? I'm compartmentalizing. It's what I do. She added a skirt to the growing pile. We'll deal with feelings later. Right now, we're shopping. A saleswoman approached. Finding everything okay? Yes, thanks. My husband's trying to expand his wardrobe. Elise's tone dared judgment. The woman didn't blink. How wonderful. Let me know if you need different sizes. When she left, Kai stared at his wife. You just told her. What was I supposed to say? These are clearly not for me. But she'll think... Who cares what she thinks? We'll never see her again. This new boldness from Elise both thrilled and terrified him. She selected several more items, then steered him toward the fitting rooms. I can't try these on here. Why not? Because people will see. See what? A person trying on clothes? She pushed him gently toward a room. Go. I'll stand guard if it makes you feel better. Inside the fitting room, he stared at the pile of feminine clothing. This felt different from secret midnight dress-up sessions. More real, more permanent. The first dress didn't fit, too tight across the chest. But the second, a green wrap style, draped beautifully. He opened the door a crack. How's it going? Elise peered in, then entered fully. Oh, that's nice. Turn around. He spun slowly, watching her face in the mirror. The color works, but you need proper undergarments, and we're definitely getting you a better wig. This is surreal. Tell me about it. Never thought I'd be helping my husband pick out dresses. She adjusted the neckline. But here we are. They left with several bags. At the wig shop, an elderly Korean woman helped them find a high-quality blonde piece that matched his natural color, but in a feminine shoulder-length style. She showed him how to secure it properly, how to care for the fiber. Your wife? She asked Elise while fitting the wig. Yes. Lucky man. Many wives not so understanding. We're working on it. Elise squeezed Kai's shoulder. The makeup store overwhelmed him. Too many products, brands, colors. But Elise navigated expertly, selecting basics. The sales associate, clearly recognizing the situation, offered tips without judgment. Start simple, she advised. Foundation, concealer, mascara, lip gloss. You can build from there. By afternoon, they'd acquired a complete beginner's wardrobe. Loading bags into the car, Kai felt simultaneously exhilarated and terrified. Thank you for all this. Don't thank me yet. We still have to figure out what this means for us. Elise started the engine, but I'd rather face it together than have you hiding. At home, he organized purchases while she made lunch. The spare bedroom closet became his feminine space. Dresses hung neatly, shoes lined below, makeup arranged on the dresser. Looking at it all, reality hit. This wasn't experimentation anymore. This was acknowledgement. Sandwich is ready, Elise called. Over lunch, she asked questions. When did the feelings start? What did being feminine mean to him? Where did he see this going? He answered as honestly as possible, though many responses were still, I don't know. We should tell Dr. Morgan, she said finally. Really? She's been encouraging us to be authentic. This is about as authentic as it gets. Their next appointment was 3 days away. Kai spent the intervening time practicing with his new items. The quality wig made an enormous difference, as did properly fitted clothes. Elise occasionally offered advice, but mostly gave him space to explore. Tuesday evening, she knocked on the spare room door. Can I come in? He was fully dressed, practicing walking in low heels. Sure. She entered and sat on the bed, watching him move. You're getting better at that. YouTube tutorials help. Have you thought about a name for when you're like this? A few ideas. Nothing feels quite right yet. Want to try them out? He sat beside her, smoothing the navy skirt. Maybe Chloe? Doesn't suit you. Rebecca? Too formal. Catherine? Kate for short? Better, but still not quite you. She studied him. What about Sky? It's different but not too far from Kai. He tested it aloud. Sky. Something clicked. I like it. Sky it is then. She smiled. Nice to meet you, Sky. The gesture brought tears to his eyes. I don't deserve you. Probably not, but you're stuck with me. She wiped his cheek. Waterproof mascara. Important lesson. Wednesday's therapy session arrived too quickly. They sat in the waiting room, tension radiating between them. Not anger, just uncertainty about revealing this development. You don't have to tell her, Elise whispered. I think I do. Me. At first, I thought it was a breakthrough. I felt brave, ready to confront my fears and embrace my true self. But as time went on, I realized the changes were different than I expected. Kai paused, their heart racing as they considered the words that would shape their future.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.